I did make the usual announcement that everybody here, we're recording and videotaping, so if you don't want your face, we have paper bags in the back. They're free. And they're colored. Pick the color you want. And if you like how you come out, you get 2 3x5s, 1 5x7, and 1 8x12. I'd like to move along. We can get into the what can be done, because there is a lot of consideration, and I'm glad we have a pretty good turnout. I'd like to turn this meeting over to one of the gentlemen who we contacted, and he brought his group, including a lawyer who specializes in this kind of material, with him to be able to answer questions about Comcast, Atlantic Broadband, what the laws are, and he's very familiar with Century Village. So Greg, would you come up?
Sure. Can I say something first and clear it up?
What's your name?
James Caulfield, Andover B.
Good.
Initially, we voted down Wi-Fi.
No, yes, twice.
Yeah, okay, and this, 6 months, a year later, then David changed it to broadband. It's the same damn thing, but he has decided to rename it so he can go for another vote. And he'll try and do the vote when his team is here, just like he did with the term limits.
Well, the vote is supposedly being in March, which it's odd for us to have to vote on anything. What you got at the last delegate assembly was only a PowerPoint. We haven't seen a contract. There was supposed to be another town hall meeting where the contract is supposed to be able to go through. So, hold on.
That's me, that's it. And you're talking about broadband and you're talking about Comcast. At the last delegate assembly, CSI said that Comcast was going to put together a contract that separated broadband from
We know
cable
that.
TV.
We know
So we're
that.
only talking about cable TV, not broadband.
Wait a second. Wait a second. I don't want to get into the minutia. You have
It's
two.
cable
wait.
TV.
No,
Our
you have
contract
two.
with Comcast
Wait.
expires, so we need a new contract for cable TV.
You don't need it until 2019, June. June 2019. That's when the contract expires. This early voting came about because Atlantic Broadband says they need 2 years to put in their wires. Before we get into it, I'm not the expert. Why don't we?
Let those guys speak. Let the guy from here speak. Why don't you wait for the
I
questions
just
then?
want to ask one question.
No question.
My name is Karen Galler.
Yes.
And I'd like to find out if we already have Wi-Fi in our building, the whole building, what happens then?
You asked that question. It'll be answered. You're not the only association that either opted out, many of the associations opted out, or went ahead and Wi-Fi'd their own building at a much less cost than anybody could offer. There's a nuance to it. We'll get to that. Our building, 40 other buildings.
Introduce the guest.
I think, thank you for your help. Could I reintroduce you, Greg? I think he got afraid and ran out of here already.
Who is he and where is he from?
He's from Brooklyn.
Hello, everyone. First of all, we're not here to talk about Wi-Fi. We're here to talk about cable.
Right.
We are cable TV experts. We have, I don't even know how many years between us in the cable TV industry. I don't even think anyone's added it up recently because
What's the name of your company?
Communications Consulting Group. We are on Clematis Street in West Palm Beach.
Say the name again?
Communications Consulting Group. Founded over 12 years ago by Mr. Christopher Merrill, former executive of Adelphia. My name is Gregory Zaniello, G-R-E-G-O-R-Y, Z as in zebra, A-N-I-E-L-L-O. Now, I want to talk to you about something that we do. What do? We are concerned, the main concern when you work with CCG, Communications Consulting Group, is your rate. How much do you pay for each and every individual unit in your community? The current rate you have, in my opinion, and I would not be standing here, and I would not have met with Ed and had and not brought the rest of that's not only a portion of our company, but I would not have brought other people from our company if I was under any impression that you had the lowest rate that you could possibly have from any cable provider. We are compensated, because you're going to want to know how that works. We are compensated not on how much money we get you, which you probably end up, depending on how good your accountant is, you're probably going to end up owing tax on that. Best case scenario, you don't owe tax on it, but you do owe tax on how much you pay for every single unit, every single month. Your cable bill is astronomical for the entire community. 7,785 units, correct? Somewhere in that neighborhood? 7854. Your bill is astronomical. Every dollar that you pay less as a resident through your condominium association with whichever cable company you're with, every dollar saved is with tax is about $10,000 a month. Every $2.20. If you do the math over a 10-year term, is astronomical. Somebody giving you or paying you a one-time number, signing bonus, or door fee as they're referred to in the industry, is excellent. It's nice. It's a great influx. We could speak to the origin of that. The origin of that, as I was discussing with Tom earlier today, the origin of that came when condos and HOAs were suffering from a lot of not getting paid by owners or foreclosures or late due fees, so their coffers were low. The cable companies then offered these signing bonuses, which were nice, and that replenished the coffers. But when they did that, they gave you rates that were higher. I have a community out in Estero, Florida, that had two options before they hired us. They had two options on the table 7 years before they hired us. They picked one, and I said, well, you had both of these. Why did you take the one that was $5 a unit more? And they said, well, because they gave us $220,000. And I said, yeah, but you paid them the $220,000 back in the next 2.5 to 3 years, and over the rest of the term, you gave them $750,000 extra. So the focus needs to be, again, rate, package, as low of an annual increase as you can possibly get. Rate, again, starting rate's got to be as low as possible. And I already know that the rate you're at today is not the lowest rate. It's not close to the lowest rate. The lowest rate in the entire state of Florida was negotiated by that gentleman right over there, and it's under non-disclosure because it's a very different number than you pay for the same thing from the same exact company. And who did he negotiate that with? The vice president that's sitting right there. Oh no, he did it with the other one.
You did both of them.
He did both. That Tom Horn that works with us is the former vice president of both Hotwire Communications, who would love your business, by the way. He's the former vice president of everything in Southeast Florida up to Vero. He works for us at CCG. And he was the vice president during the signing of your last agreement that you're currently in.
With Comcast.
With Comcast at the time. So, Adam is there. Adam's been with us for several years. He assists Chris with negotiations. He has very large clients. What would your larger clients be?
Silver Lakes.
Silver Lakes, 5,000 some odd homes. The lowest rate in the state of Florida on cable that Christopher Merrill negotiated is actually 7,200 units, just a little bit smaller than you guys. And they pay way less. Kings Point. Similar community, very similar. So again, what do we focus on? Rate, rate, rate. What do we get paid off of? We get paid off of how much we save you each bill, each month, and only as we save you. So now let's also talk about the tax, because this is an interesting thing. If we save you $1, tax on cable TV is generally about 13 to 14.5% between taxes and fees based on your bill at home and the bill that the condominium association pays for every month, which is very large. If we reduce that bill by $10,000 a month, yes, we're owed a portion of that savings. But that portion of savings that you owe us is virtually identical to the amount of tax savings you've now avoided. When you save $10,000, you also save another $1,400 in tax a month. If you save $100,000 over the course of a year, you save $14,000 in tax, which is virtually, again, about what we get paid. If you save $1 million over the term of your contract, you've saved $140,000 in tax as well. Again, virtually what we get paid. So you get all the savings. We basically get the money you're going to give to Uncle Sam, and that's how we work. Now, if anybody has any quick questions, I'd answer them happily, and then I'm going to introduce Christopher Mello to come up here and talk about the company, the business, etc.
I just want to clarify one thing on the taxes. When you get paid a doorway fee, that's a taxable event. So if we get $3 million and that money is not directly distributed back to us, the owners, we are subject to a federal income tax. Now, the type of money we're talking about at that rate is more than 35%. This was brought up at the last contract, and they skirted the issue. It's already been known that they want to keep the money to do this, to do that. In addition, the fact that Comcast now says they can reduce the length of the contract they have by 2 years, our auditors took a position that they write it off over 10 years. That means if they forgive 2 years of that $3 million, you can't not pay the tax on it. I brought that up at the last delegate assembly. Then George Lowenstein said, let's do it the other way. But I can tell you this, if it's challenged, check the law, it's taxable unless you, the owners, get a refund as it's paid. Because you know once it goes into the general pot here, it's gone. So at that time they wanted to get a tax ruling, they didn't want to pay for the ruling. But I know a way that you can get a ruling without paying anything.